Hello all, today I'm going to be showing you how to use Minecraft to design a voxel model and use it, export it to be used with any other method of 3D production. Okay, so here's my model. This is the model I'm going to be utilizing to show you today, but the kind of things that I've done before are things as large as this. Sans all the mobs. This is the size of the project I've done before with this process, but just for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to be focusing on a single one of these house models. Okay, so how I did this was I started by prototyping in Minecraft. So like I built this area and I dug this all out entirely in Minecraft because, I mean, it was like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of work. But to do something as large as this, with this kind of open space, and this kind of snow ceiling, I used a program called MCEdit, and I will take you there now. Okay, and here we are in MCEdit, and then I'm going to select Load World. I'm going to select Bird. Sometimes the menu comes up differently, and it asks you to be in the file where your world data is. That's the ceiling. And if that's so, then you just click on the file folder with the name of your world and open the level.dat. Okay, and here you can see what the world looks like in Minecraft. I'm able to still fly. My flying controls are just a little bit different. The default down is not shift, so that's a little confusing at first. And then all these purple blocks are future blocks, but you can still edit them in MCEdit because it's using their block ID. And so if you know a block's block ID, you can still paste it and fill it and move it around in MCEdit, no problem. But I use tools like this, my little select reticle here. Just click and dragged and selected out this whole area and deleted it with the delete key to make like the hole to start with. Deselect there. And let's go over here. So if I wanted to, if I wanted to put this in a hole in the ground, like, 15 times, like I did over here, I just made my hole in the ground, and then I selected this thing without the snow. But you can get rid of the snow in this program too. Like so. I'm going to bring I'll leave the bottom alone. Then I'm going to tell it to copy. You can see here it is right there. There's my copy thing. And there's not a house here in my plan, but I'll just plop it down anyway. And then I'm going to tell it to paste. There's my house. And I'm going to rotate it. Rotate it again so that it fits along the path. Looks good. You can place it, but then before it's confirmed completely, click import to confirm it. You have all these options here. You can roll it, flip it, mirror it, but I'm going to nudge it into the ground. For some reason, shift jumps it very far. Shift nudges quickly. Nudge it into the ground so that it's even with all the rest of the houses. And I'm going to tell it to go ahead and copy the air. Not that it would matter because there was already air there anyway, but if I was copying it underground like that, I could tell it to copy the air and it would not just put this in the stone. It would actually leave the block of empty space that I've selected around it as well. Which is very useful for if you're copying like door structures or any kind of rooms at all. And then you can also tell it to copy the water and the biomes. I'm just going to tell it to import there. Okay, and while I have this selected, I'm going to use my fill and replace tool, which is one of the handiest tools for MCEdit. And I'm going to tell it to search for snow layer. Okay. And then I'm going to tell it to replace the snow layer with air, which is already set on. Okay, so I'm just going to tell it, and this will swap it so that I would replace any air with a snow layer. I'm going to tell it to replace, deselect, and then no snow on top of my house. Looks great. Okay, and then as you can see, I'm getting some weird shading artifacting here, which is fine because as soon as you save it, it says down here 2 unsaved edits. As soon as you save it, it does a lighting pass, gets rid of all that, makes it look about like it would look in Minecraft. The lighting is not as sophisticated as you can probably see, but you know, it gives you a pretty good idea of what something's going to look like. MCEdit can also export file type, but only the file type .schematic, which is specifically for Minecraft and for programs like MCEdit. So I could export this as a .schematic and I could import it into another world. I'm going to just go ahead and delete that. That's like a temporary export. That box is telling you that that object is temporarily exported and that you could save it as a complete export in a .schematic very easily from just it's being copied there. Okay, like I was saying, MCEdit only exports .schematics, but to get this into most programs that you would use for 3D editing or rendering, it needs to be an OBJ, an STL, or let's see what else, a VML, is that right? And MCEdit doesn't do that. However, there are other programs that do, and I'm going to put a link to the Minecraft wiki page where there's a more comprehensive list of your like options of programs that do that kind of exporting, and what kind of files those programs will export as, what their strengths and weaknesses are, where you can download them in the description of this video. So feel free to check that out if the information that I've put in the video is not like comprehensive enough for you. I'd like to also point out that, as you can see, these houses in this model are significantly different than this original house model, and that's because I ended up routing this model out of some pink foam on a CNC router, and so I got rid of all the undercuts, which is why these house models are more simplified. Because like the chimney is an undercut, and all the windows and the door is an undercut. So that it wouldn't be possible with that technology to produce this specific shape. But these shapes are all well and good. And this shape, even, when we go to our next piece of software, which is Mineways, this is what we'll be using to actually export this as an STL, causes this to be raised, the like block fraction that it is. That the wheats are raised. I can't remember what block fraction it is, but that does that for us. Okay, so I'm gonna head on to the next piece of software that I mentioned, Mineways, now, and show you how that works. Okay, one of the first things that happens when you open Mineways on a Mac is you get this little information box that tells you that it can't find your world saves directory. That's not a hard problem to solve. Here we have a little Mineways window. Stretch it out a little bit. Here. You just go to File, and you go to Open, and then it's put you, well, it's got me on my desktop because that's where I left it last. But I just scroll right up to Application Support, and then go to the Minecraft Application Support folder, and then Saves, and then my world name, and then I open the level.dat again. Okay. And this time, cancel. Talk about that in a minute. This time, it's left click to move around, right click to select. So this time, we are just going to select the same house model that was on the surface, not the one that we moved down in here. And this is all white because of the snow, and it'll all be brown because of the, this is all like brown because of the glass, and the clay is all the same color. So that's a little bit annoying. Mineways also hasn't updated to the latest, like, textures from the latest updates to Minecraft, which is acceptable. See there, my glass disappeared and you can see all the clay is brown. And you can see what depth I'm selecting at. So like I'm inside the houses now. And that's with the roofs on. Oh wait, not quite with the roofs on. Okay, there's with my chimney on. All good. So that's my height that I want to be at. And then to select my depth, you can see, now I have none of that house selected at all. It's all too high in the air. So there you can see it's selecting the different layers of my house. And then I want that layer of ground and then one more layer of ground just to be safe. Okay, so there's my selection. And then I'm going to go to File. And then you have your different export options here. Export for rendering, printing, export as a schematic. Mineways also does the schematic file type. And then just to repeat your last export. So I'm struggling with right now Mineways exporting OBJs. It can't find the specific terrain PNG that it needs to export an OBJ properly, even though that terrain PNG is exactly where it should be in the folder. I'm not sure if this is a problem with all Macs or just with me. I've emailed the Mineways guy about it a little bit, and I thought I had the problem fixed when I emailed him, but I didn't. So all I'm able to export as right now is as an STL, which means that I can't get color prints done through Shapeways, which is what Mineways was designed to be used with, but I can get one color models from Mineways, which is really helpful. So the differences between these two are negligible for me right now. They, for the kind of work that I'm doing, don't matter. So if you need to know more about those, you'll have to look it up on your own. And I'm going to call this I'm going to call this Birdhouse. Birdhouse. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. Actually, I'm going to save it in Bird Assets. Birdhouse is a binary STL. Save. Okay, and then you have your export dialog box, which gives you all these options about like what it will be printed in and what kind of scaling to like cost it'll be. It really is like well designed for partnering with Shapeways, but as I haven't actually done that through this program yet, and that's not what I'm doing with this program yet, I won't explain all those things in this video. Plus, you can find a video talking about all of this stuff on the Mineways website, which I will also have a link to in the description of this video. I'm just going to tell it, okay, no change, none of my selections. And then I'm going to open up that model in Tinkercad so you can take a look at what it turned out like. Okay, here I am in Tinkercad, which is a free online 3D editing program. You have to be connected to the internet to use it, but there's no download. And you have a pretty big amount of storage space. As you can see here, that's the model that I ended up routing right there. But for this house, we're going to create a new design. This is the one of their randomly generated names for objects. I'm going to import a file. From Bird Assets. I called it Birdhouse. Okay, import. This is probably too big. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's take it down to 74%. Import. Because my work plane is, I think the work plane is default set for, 3D printing. Oh my goodness! That's really big. Let's delete that and scale it down again. Delete it. Okay, let's scale that down to like 20%. Let's call it. Better. Okay, okay. Shrink that down some more so it's reasonably sized. Oh, working in this workspace so small is a little bit more difficult. I don't usually work in a bigger window, but okay. So here's my house. As you can see, it's not perfect. It's changed some of my geometry from squares. That has to do with the scaling. It doesn't scale very well. So you can change the settings of that. Like when you're telling it to export, some of those settings were about the size that you were exporting. And excuse me. You can tell it to export smaller if you want, or you can just open it in a different program to take a better look at it. But yeah, for the purposes of what I was using Tinkercad for, this is fine. This is acceptable. This is a pretty good sketch. It's the right size of what I'm doing. And what I've used Tinkercad for in this process was to make round shapes. So we're actually going to go back home to my dashboard. And I'm going to show you the round shapes I was working on. Okay. So here's what I used my Minecraft files in Tinkercad for. So this is a form that I was trying to round out using Minecraft and MCEdit alone. And I was really struggling with it. As you can see, the face here is really concave. I wasn't getting very good round shapes. It looks more like a squishy diamond than a sphere. And I really wanted this character to be really round. Just very chubby little shapes. So I came in to Tinkercad and I just used this as a skeleton for this model. Just fits pretty well right inside there. It's a little bit off, but that's probably because my snap grid was a different size. And I simply modeled my round Dagmar using the spheres. Oops. Come back. Okay. Using the spheres. Control-C. Using the spheres in Tinkercad from my little basic shapes menu. Stretching them, squashing them, making them a different color. And then I went to the design menu and downloaded this for Minecraft. Because in Tinkercad, 1 millimeter, or I think whatever your basic unit of measurement, whatever unit of measurement you choose is going to be 1 block. So I went back into MCEdit and had MCEdit count how tall this was for me. And then I made this model exactly that tall. So while it's 35.97 millimeters, it should be 36 millimeters. There we go. 36 millimeters, 36 millimeters. Say that. And then I exported this little 36 millimeter guy back to Minecraft, and we'll go there and I'll show you the result. And here it is, imported from Minecraft, complete with a creeper on top, imported from MCEdit. I did a little bit of editing. The eyes were very much reduced, and I fixed the feet a little bit and the hands a little bit. But other than that, it worked out pretty good. The colors in Tinkercad coordinate to a type of block. So the green that I was using didn't coordinate to any block, and it came out as stone. But the yellow and the white that I used coordinated to quartz blocks, which is this white stuff here. So I replaced all those with the sandstone that I was originally using to build. The cheeks were also quartz blocks, so I just made those pink wool, and the eyes were black, and they coordinated to obsidian. So I just replaced those with black wool, which I was using before. I haven't put the stripes back on the back of the head, but I'll do that at some point later on, now that I have this beautiful round model of Dagmar that took me a lot less time to get going through those tools than by trying to fill it all out myself here. You see? See my struggles a little bit there. So yeah, this has been a short tutorial on how to really use Minecraft as a fairly versatile voxel editor. As a fairly versatile voxel editor. So I hope this was helpful to you. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.